What is going on there, Reject Nation? Greg here today. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So this is the second movie that I easily get the most crap for never having seen. I'm a 90s kid. Never saw this film. Whenever I tell people I've never seen it, it's again the same thing I had with Forrest Gump. Was I can't believe you have not seen the Shawshank Redemption. It's so good. Yeah, figured why not do a movie reaction. I'm actually shooting this at like midnight right now on whatever random day this is. I don't remember what day today is. My schedule's been off ever since Stranger Things, but we are here and I'm excited to watch it. Thank you so much for clicking. If you can leave a like, that would be so appreciated. Also subscribe and click that notification bell. And as per usual, full-length reaction watch-alongs where you sync up with your own copy. I'm watching this off HBO Max. Is over at our Patreon page for Super Sexy Rejects. Cover a whole bunch of shows over there as well. We're at the same tier. You get the option for reaction highlights and watch-alongs included. Any movie or show that we cover here, the full-length watch-along is available over at our Patreon page. Thank you to the Prepper team for helping me edit down these highlights. I know it takes place in a prison. That's about all I know. Let's see what's going on in this film.
What happened after you argued with your wife?
She packed a bag to go and stay with Mr. Quentin.
Glenn Quentin, the golf pro at the Snowden Hills Country Club. The man you had recently discovered was your wife's lover.
David Prova from The Sopranos is in this.
Drove to his house to confront them. They weren't home, so I parked in the turnout and waited.
With what intention?
I'm not sure. I was confused, drunk.
Well, I hope you murdered her.
Well, where I get hazy is where the cleaning woman shows up the following morning and finds your wife in bed with her lover riddled with .38 caliber bullets. Now, does that strike you as a fantastic coincidence, Mr. Dufresne, or is it just me?
I mean, you're coming across a little guilty, dude.
Yet you still maintain that you threw your gun into the river before the murders took place.
It's the truth. Since I am innocent of this crime, sir, I find it decidedly inconvenient that the gun was never found.
That's a very good response.
We have the accused at the scene of the crime. We have footprints, tire tracks. We have bullets strewn on the ground which bear his fingerprints. A broken bourbon bottle, likewise with fingerprints. And most of all,
Roger Deakins cinematography.
By the power vested in me by the state of Maine, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back.
It's weird. Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman look de-aged to me. So you say how they look now?
We see by your file you've served 20 years of a life sentence.
Yes, sir.
You feel you've been rehabilitated?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm no longer a danger to society. That's God's honest truth.
Ugh. I don't know why I'm already rooting for him. Like, get out of here. Wow, this looks like one hell of a prison. I would love to visit this location if it's not still an active prison.
Hey, Red.
New blood. Holy shit, is that Clancy Brown? Everyone's so de-aged in this movie.
Looked like a stiff breeze would blow him over. That was my first impression of the man.
What do you say, Red?
A tall drink of water with a silver spoon up his ass.
Never happened.
10 cigarettes.
That's a rich bet.
This looks like a fun prison. It's interesting how it can successfully shift perspective between Morgan Freeman's character and Tim Robbins so effortlessly.
I'm Mr. Norton, the warden.
That's the warden.
You are convicted felons. That's why they've sent you to me. Rule number 1, no blasphemy.
God damn it.
Left.
The first night's the toughest. No doubt about it. Somebody always breaks down crying. It's as good a thing to bet on as any, I guess. I had my money on Andy Dufresne.
God, prison must really suck.
I don't belong here.
We have a winner.
I want to go home.
And it's fat ass by a nose.
Fisk. Where's Fisk?
Good old William Sadler, man.
You don't understand. I'm not supposed to be here.
Open that cell.
Me neither.
Oh my God.
If I hear so much as a mouse fart in here the rest of the night, I swear by God and Sonny Jesus, you will all visit the infirmary. Every last motherfucker in here.
I hope a mouse doesn't fart. God damn. I never want to meet Clancy Brown. But goddamn do I respect him.
His first night in the joint, Andy Dufresne cost me 2 packs of cigarettes. He never made a sound.
That's a damn good white boy. There's so much character to this prison, like just the environment and the structure. Oh my God.
Are you going to eat that?
Hadn't planned on it.
Do you mind? Yeah. That's nice and ripe.
What the fuck? Oh, okay. All right.
Jake says thank you.
I hope that bird doesn't die.
Fine morning, isn't it? You know why it's a fine morning, don't you? Come on, set them down. I want them all lined up here, just like a pretty little chorus line.
Damn, Red looks pissed.
I was just wondering if anyone knew his name.
Doesn't fucking matter what his name was. He's dead.
I take it you feel a little bad about it, don't you?
Wife-killing banker. Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you asked.
You gonna fit right in. Or maybe you'd like to sink your toe into somebody's skull.
No, sir. I have no enemies here.
No? Wait a while.
Yep.
Sisters have taken quite a liking to you, especially Boggs.
Don't suppose it would help any if I explained to them I'm not homosexual.
It would not.
Well, if there's any trouble, I won't use the rock hammer.
They find it, you're gonna lose it. If they do catch you with it, you don't know me.
I understand.
I could see why some of the boys took him for snobby. He had a quiet way about him.
There's such good chemistry between them.
I think it would be fair to say I liked Andy from the start.
Red.
Red's the kind of guy you can be friends with outside of prison, too.
Great! We're running low on Hexite. Get on back and fetch us up some.
Ah, shit. Feel something. Yep, there it is.
I wish I could tell you that Andy fought the good fight, but prison is no fairy tale world. He never said who did it, but we all knew.
God, that's horrible.
I do believe those first 2 years were the worst for him.
2 years.
It was outdoor detail, and May is one damn fine month to be working outdoors.
Ellis Redding.
Wouldn't you know it? Me and some fellows I know were among the names called.
35,000. That's what he left me.
Poor Barry. Terrible fucking luck, huh?
Crying shame.
Some people really got it awful. Step aside, Mert. This fucker's having himself an accident.
You don't push him off the roof.
Because if you do trust her, there's no reason you can't keep that 35,000. 35,000.
All of it.
All of it?
Every penny.
You better start making sense.
Give it to your wife. The IRS allows a one-time only gift to your spouse for up to $60,000.
Bullshit. Tax-free?
Tax-free. IRS can't touch 1 cent.
You're that smart banker what killed his wife, aren't you? Why should I believe a smart banker like you?
Because he's a smart banker.
You get the forms, I'll prepare them for you. Nearly free of charge. I'd only ask 3 beers apiece for each of my co-workers. I think a man working outdoors feels more like a man if you can have a bottle of suds.
Okay.
And that's how it came to pass.
Not bad.
As for Andy, he spent that break hunkered in the shade, a strange little smile on his face. watching us drink his beer.
Want a cold one, Andy?
No, thanks. Gave up drinking.
Oh, you're a nice guy.
What do you want?
Rita Hayworth.
What?
So this is Johnny Farrell. I've heard a lot about you, Johnny Farrell.
Take a few weeks.
Weeks?
Well, yeah, Andy. I don't have a stuff down the front of my pants right now, I'm sorry to say.
How would you get Rita Hayworth? That's just, what? I don't know.
Andy spent a month in the infirmary. The sisters never laid a finger on Andy again, and Boggs never walked again.
Wow. Okay.
I'm thinking Andy could use a nice welcome back when he gets out of the infirmary. Man likes to play chess. Let's get him some rocks.
I loved his reaction. Oh. Aw.
Heads up. Tossing the cells.
13. 119.
Oh, no. It's a real messed up way of inspecting shit.
Pleased to see you reading this. Any favorite passages?
Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh.
Ha 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 ha.
Hey, Jake, where's Brooks? Andy. And I thought I heard you out here.
I've been reassigned to you.
I know, they told me. Ain't that a kick in the head?
Ain't that a kick in the head?
I'm Deacons. I was, thinking about maybe setting up some kind of trust fund for my kids' educations.
Ah.
Mr. Deacons. And then Andy says it, Mr. Deacons, you want your sons to go to Harvard or Yale?
As far as they're concerned, only 3 ways to spend the taxpayers' hard-earned when it comes to prisons. More walls, more bars, more guards.
Still, I'd like to try, with your permission. I'll write a letter a week. They can't ignore me forever.
Sure can. I'll even mail them for you. How's that?
Will you mail them?
The following April, Andy did tax returns for half the guards at Shawshank.
Oh, my God.
Year after that, he did them all, including the wardens. Year after that, they rescheduled the start of the intramural season to coincide with tax season.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, sir. Andy was a regular cottage industry. In fact, it got so busy at tax time, he was allowed a staff.
Oh, cool.
So put the knife down. Brooks, look at me. Put the knife down. Brooks, look at his neck, for God's sake.
It's the only way they'd let me stay.
Come on, this is crazy.
What?
What the hell did you do to set him off anyway?
I didn't do nothing. I come in here to say fare thee well. Ain't you heard his parole come through?
I just don't understand what happened in there, that's all.
Oh, man. This is his home.
You can never get like that.
Oh, yeah? Say that when you've been here as long as Brooks has.
Goddamn right. They send you here for life. That's exactly what they take. Part that counts, anyway.
That is crazy. I wonder if that happens often to people.
I can't take care of you no more, Jake. You're gone now. You're free.
Oh. Wow. God, 50 years, man.
I can't believe how fast things move on the outside. I saw an automobile once when I was a kid, but...
I was just thinking about that. Just thinking about that.
The parole board got me into this halfway house called the Brewer, and a job. It's hard work. I try to keep up, but my hands hurt most of the time.
Oh.
Sometimes after work, I go to the park and feed the birds. I keep thinking Jake might just show up and say hello, but he never does.
Oh, poor guy.
I have bad dreams like I'm falling. I wake up scared. Sometimes it takes me a while to remember where I am.
This is so fascinating.
Maybe I should get me a gun and rob the foodway so they'd send me home. I've decided not to stay. I doubt they'll kick up any fuss. Not for an old crook like me.
Oh, holy shit.
P.S. Tell Haywood I'm sorry I put a knife to his throat. No hard feelings, Brooks.
Damn. That was such an unexpected part of this movie to me.
What's all this?
You tell me, fuckstick, they're all addressed to you.
Huh. It worked?
This is $200. In addition, the library district has generously responded with a charitable donation of used books and sundries. We trust this will fill your needs. We now consider the matter closed. Please stop sending us letters. It only took 6 years. From now on, I'll write 2 letters a week instead of 1.
Andy, do you hear that?
Is that Italian music? Don't be too bold, man. Okay, he's going bold. You will now be competing in this year's Hunger Games.
It was like some beautiful bird flapped into our drab little cage and made those walls dissolve away. And for the briefest of moments, every last man at Shawshank felt free.
That's why he did it. For that feeling.
I am warning you, Dufresne. Turn that off!
Oh, great.
Andy got 2 weeks in the hole for that little stunt.
On your feet.
You couldn't play something good, huh? With Hank Williams or something?
They broke the door down before I could take requests.
Was it worth?
That's the beauty of music. They can't get that from you. Haven't you ever felt that way about music?
I played a mean harmonica as a younger man.
Yeah?
Lost interest in it, though. Didn't make much sense in here.
Here's where it makes the most sense. You need it so you don't forget.
Come on, Ray, you get a harmonica.
Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. It's got no use on the inside.
Oh,
Better get used to that idea.
I hope you get out of here by the end, Red.
You feel you've been rehabilitated? Oh, yes, sir. And I can honestly say I'm a changed man. No danger to society here. God's honest truth.
And the hope debate lives on.
Here. Little parole rejection present. Go ahead and open it. Had to go through one of your competitors. I hope you don't mind. I wanted it to be a surprise.
He got the harmonica.
Thank you.
You gonna play it?
No. Not right now.
When you get out. God, it's such a longest time in prison. Jesus Christ. I know Rita Hayworth, but who the hell is that?
And you'd be amazed how far Andy could stretch it. He made deals with book clubs, charity groups. He bought remaindered books by the pound.
Count Monte Cristo.
That's Cristo, you dumb shit.
The rest of us did our best to pitch in when and where we could. By the year Kennedy was shot, Andy had transformed a storage room smelling of rat turds and turpentine into the best prison library in New England.
Wow.
Want the rest of this? Thank you, sir.
Have this shitty pie.
Problem with having all that money is that sooner or later you're gonna have to explain where it came from.
Well, that's where I come in. I send that money out into the real world, and when it comes back...
Clean as a virgin's honey powder.
By the time Norton retires, I'll have made him a millionaire.
Now you're a real criminal.
I know you're good, Andy, but all that paper leaves a trail. FBI, IRS, whatever. It's gonna lead to somebody.
Sure it is, but not to me. And certainly not to the warden. Randall Stephen.
Who?
Second cousin to Harvey the Rabbit. He doesn't exist, except on paper.
You can't just make a person up.
Mr. Stevens has a birth certificate, driver's license, social security number.
You're shitting me.
I had to come to prison to be a crook.
I got the TV like this. It's a big old thing. I couldn't see shit.
Freeze, kid. Hands in the air.
You hear what I said, boy? I say, yes, sir. I sure did. But if I drop this fucking thing, you got me on destruction of property, too.
You don't seem to be a very good thief. Maybe you should try something else.
Yeah, well, what the hell you know about it, Capone? What are you in for?
Me? Lawyer, fuck me. Everybody's innocent in here. Don't you know that?
Dude, Tim Robbins is so good at this.
Feel bad. Let him down.
Oh, that's crap, kid. He's proud of you.
What's he in here for, anyway?
Murder.
The hell you say?
Caught his wife in bed with some golf pro. Raised them both.
4 years ago, I was in Thomaston on a 2 to 3 stretch.
Oh my God, no way.
About 6 months left to go. Get a new cellmate in. Elmo Blatch. Big, twitchy fuck.
Oh my God, he knows who did it.
So I pick out this guy, gives me shit. So I killed him. Him and this tasty bitch he was with. She's fucking this prixie, this golf pro, but she's married some other guy.
Oh my God.
Some hotshot banker.
Oh my God.
And he's the one they pinned it on.
Jesus, that's everything right there.
I have to say, that's the most amazing story I ever heard.
Sir?
Oh, they would want to keep him here.
The country club will have his old time cards, records, W-2s with his name on them.
Frayne, if you want to indulge this fantasy, that's your business. Don't make it mine. This meeting is over. Get in here now.
I was just trying to set your mind at ease, that's all. Sir, I didn't...
Solitary, a month.
Oh my God.
Kid passed. C+ average.
Oh, wow. Just made the cut.
Warden wants to talk.
Oh no, this does not look like good news.
I have to know if what you told to Frayne was the truth.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Would you be willing to swear before a judge and jury, having placed your hand on the good book?
Just give me that chance.
Why does this feel like a mislead?
That's what I thought.
God damn it.
I'm sure by now you've heard. Terrible thing. Less than a year to go, trying to escape. Broke Captain Hadley's heart to shoot him. We just have to put it behind us.
Oh my God, I hope you get fucking the electric chair, man.
You will do the hardest time there is. No more protection from the guards. Catch him adrift. Or am I being obtuse? Give him another month to think about it.
Another month?
I didn't pull the trigger. I drove her away. And that's why she died, because of me.
Oh, no.
Feel bad about it if you want to, but you didn't pull the trigger.
No, I didn't. You think you'll ever get out of here?
One day, when I got a long white beard and 2 or 3 marbles rolling around upstairs, they let me out.
He'll become God.
I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
God, the acting in this is so good.
He asked me for a length of rope.
Rope?
6 feet long. And you gave it to him. Sure I did. Why wouldn't I?
Because you...
Remember Brooks Hamlin?
No. And he'd never do that.
Every man has his breaking point.
Lickety split. Want to get home.
Oh, come on. Figure it out.
Get my stuff down to the laundry. And shine my shoes. I want them looking like mirrors. It's good having you back, Andy. Place wasn't the same without you.
Just completely strip him of everything. He gets his most hopeful opportunity. And then that's when all hope becomes lost.
Man missing on tier 2, cell 245. Dufresne! Get your ass out here, boy. You're holding up the show. Don't make me come down there. I'll thump your skull for you.
Maybe he broke out.
Tell me what this is.
Last night's count.
Mm-hmm. I sure do. See, right there. Dufresne. I want him found. Not tomorrow, not after breakfast. Now.
How'd he get out? Did he use that shovel thingy?
This is a conspiracy. Big damn conspiracy! And everyone's in on it. Including her.
No, no.
In 1966, Andy Dufresne escaped from Shawshank prison.
Please tell me he got away.
All they found of him was a muddy set of prison clothes, a bar of soap, and an old rock hammer.
There it is. That's when he had the idea.
Turns out, Andy's favorite hobby was toting his wall out into the exercise yard. A handful at a time. Andy decided he'd been here just about long enough.
Look at his split. I want to get home.
Oh, please tell me there's shit in there to convict him.
Three deposits tonight.
Yes, he took it.
Andy crawled to freedom through 500 yards of shit-smelling foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to.
Some goddamn determination.
That's the length of 5 football fields.
Oh my God. You clever son of a bitch, you. Oh, yay. Please tell me he gets away. Please.
A man nobody ever laid eyes on before strolled into the Maine National Bank. Until that moment, he didn't exist. Except on paper.
Did he know
Driver's license, birth certificate, social security card. And the signature was a spot-on match.
Yeah!
I hope you'll enjoy living abroad.
Thank you. So good. I love this.
Will there be anything else?
Please, could you add this to your outgoing mail?
I'd be happy to.
Oh,
Good day, sir.
this is so cathartic.
All told, he blew town with better than $370,000 of Warden Norton's money.
Wow.
Good morning, Portland Daily Bugle.
Oh, man. The irony of what was Hugger. This is the greatest finale in all of movie history right here.
I wasn't there to see it, but I hear Byron Hadley started sobbing like a little girl when they took him away.
Ah, little bitch.
Norton had no intention of going that quietly.
Oh, no.
Make it easy on yourself, Norton.
Man. Nah, he deserved to rot in prison.
I got a postcard in the mail. When I picture him heading south in his own car with the top down, it always makes me laugh. I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged.
Does Red get out? No.
I guess I just miss my friend.
Please, for the love of Christ, let him go.
Your files say you've served 40 years of a life sentence. Feel you've been rehabilitated?
It's just a bullshit word. So you go on and stamp your form, Sonny, and stop wasting my time.
Oh, he fucking did. He did it. Did he get to say goodbye to his friends? Damn, they just put them up in the same ass place. Oh man, find that oak tree. If Andy already didn't go to it.
There's a harsh truth to face. No way I'm gonna make it on the outside.
Don't say that, man. Please, for the love of God, don't.
All I do anymore is think of ways to break my parole. Only one thing stops me. A promise I made to Andy.
Like a tree that God would send messages through. That rock definitely doesn't look like it belongs to the other rocks. He went back there and left a letter for him, didn't he? Oh, he did.
If you're reading this, you've gotten out. And if you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further. You remember the name of the town, don't you?
Say what's the name?
That's a good memory, dude.
Remember, Red, hope is a good thing. Maybe the best of things.
That is so beautiful.
I'm guilty of committing a crime. Parole violation. Of course, I doubt they'll toss up any roadblocks for that. Fort Hancock, Texas, please.
I'm so happy right now. Get your hat. Oh, yes. Yes. Wow. Oh, that was so beautiful. That was very touching. That was extremely touching. Oh, I wish we got to see him say bye to his friends in prison, though, Red. Release the extended cut. Is there a post-credit scene of Red's friends sitting around just going, anyone seen Red lately? Haven't seen Red around here. Beautiful. That was beautiful. Okay. Wow. Ooh, what a journey. What a journey. Where to begin? It's really an ultimate bromance movie, isn't it? Do people say that about this film? Do people say this is a bromance? I really didn't know anything about it. I knew it took place in a prison. That's all I've ever really known about it. And of course, seen the poster for it. I didn't realize that's what the poster was going to be representing ultimately in the end. And I was very satisfied with it. You know, like from just the takeaway of like the main technical things that I imagine people, I mean, not all of it's technical. However, you know, you're thinking about like the performances are just phenomenal. Like Morgan Freeman is excellent, just so natural. And it's interesting because you usually see, and nowadays you see him kind of play like, I mean, he does a lot of types of work now, but you don't really get to see him do roles like this anymore. I mean, maybe he does, and I'm just out of the loop. But in terms of like the prominent films or the bigger films he tends to be a part of, roles like this, not so much. And so to see him do this role is so real, so natural. And same thing with Tim Robbins, just excellent in this film. Very internal performance, subdued. And I think the way they, oftentimes when you do stories that span a lot of time, like they span like a lot of time here, and oftentimes you do stories like this, you can feel like it's going a little too, like imagine like a typical biopic where you complain about, the way they span time. Just imagine those complaints applied to here, and I would not apply that here. Yet I think that's part of the uniqueness of it, is you can feel kind of the wear and tear it does on the soul of these characters, but it's never done in a way that feels forceful. It all feels so natural. Because, you start this movie out with, Red getting rejected once again to get out of Shawshank. And he doesn't seem as resistant towards the possibility of him getting out. And then as the movie progresses, anytime the talk of dreams or escaping or being let go from here, that you could see that there's such pushback, there's such a defense mechanism that comes up in the conversation, and that the thought of that is a threat, the thought of that is a fear. It's like painful to think about because it will never come true. Or if it does come true, terror awaits, because now it's been so conditioned, and this is home now. This is most of the individual life is spent here, that the outside world is uncomfortable and you don't belong. Like a lot of these people who wind up here end up finding a different place of belonging and a different place of purpose. So I like the details. And I think that's one of the things about this movie is it's the details. It's really easy to look at a film like this, I imagine, especially after 94. God, so many damn good movies came out there. I don't know if this film won any awards. I'm way out of the loop on this. I believe it lost to Forrest Gump. That's what I believe is the right. Anyhow, it's easy to look at a film like this and go, yeah, melodramatic, a little bit predictable. I mean, predictable in terms of where the plots might end up, but it's about the details of the experience. It's about getting lost in it, because I actually thought this movie was more immersive than I was expecting it to be. Like, I don't often, depends on, exactly what kind of film you're watching, and I wasn't expecting to get as swept up in it or as immersed in it. And weirdly, I actually think a lot of that credit goes to Morgan Freeman's narration. That classic Morgan Freeman narration. Is this when it started? The classic Morgan Freeman narration. Because, often, out in LA, you meet a lot of people who are screenwriters, and you hear, people constantly debate, like narration is a weak man's storytelling motif. Like, don't do it. And I actually thought it was used quite effectively, and I thought it actually helped enhance the immersiveness of the film. Because you are weaving in and out of two perspectives throughout this film. You're weaving in and out of Red's perspective, and you're weaving into Andy's perspective. And there's the juxtaposition, there's the clash of Andy, who is trying, obviously, as stated in the film, is trying to hold on to hope, maintain some level of optimism. And then you have Red, who, as time goes on, is losing more and more of that hope. And the fear is becoming the... By the way, just got to say this really fast. The Brooks character, very effective stuff. I love that they allowed the film to break away from the main two narratives of Red and Andy and just spend time, like a little short film within this massive film, to spend time with Brooks on the outside world and really show that feeling of living in this isolated place. And, you know, going from a place where you found family, you found friends, you found order in its own weird way, and you found purpose. Like all of us, I imagine all of us long for a sense of belonging and a sense of feeling like we have some type of purpose, whether that be on a major level or a minor level. You know, and anything that helps us feel like we belong, usually that's associated with like, what's my purpose in here? And it's so easy to define that, where it's kind of like you're starting all over again, and it's easy to get kind of lost in the masses. And also, you know, when you're there for so long, you're out of touch with the way times have changed. You haven't changed with the times because you weren't around to experience the societal changes. And they really capture that so eloquently. Perfect with the Brooks character, that it was heartbreaking. Like, that to me was one of the most heartbreaking parts of this whole story, was seeing how that happens. And that's the fear that every man eventually has. When that really opened my eyes to, you know, like there's constantly a lot of talks, you know, circulating that I'm not as well versed in as I ought to be, or I haven't taken the time to dive into incarceration treatment and just how messed up it is, you know, because like I only ever truly hear about like the terrible people when I watch like true crime documentaries or something like that, or a true crime docuseries, and like, yeah, lock them away for good. But the mistreatment, or people who are like, no, they shouldn't be incarcerated for that long, you know, and this movie kind of shows that, and it also shows the kind of negative effect it can have, because you imagine that you're in prison, oh my God, you've been there for so long, you must just want to get out. But then I never thought about that feeling. It's like, it's not exactly Stockholm Syndrome, but I imagine in some ways it can kind of feel, it's habitual. It's like, this is your habitat now, you know? And I think the way they painted that with the Brooks storyline was really powerful. And so then you have here the juxtaposition between the two main characters. You know, which path is it going to go down for them? Which belief system will you ultimately fall under? Because the story is so much about resilience and perseverance in the face of obstacles where everything just seems like Andy was sexually assaulted, physically beaten, tortured, abused on all accounts, stripped of everything. And he never gave up, and he was always, and I think there is a certain level. What I thought was cool about the way how it's woven is it's sort of woven, like I would use the word, it's woven like a tale, because T-A-L-E for clarity on that, because Red is so much about think realistic, and Andy's journey is a bit of this cathartic fantasy fulfillment of the man wronged who managed to inspire and influence these people and have them be educated and do good deeds and look and grow bigger hearts, grow some love, and expand their love, expand their vocabulary even, and then manage to use his imagination to break out of there, put the warden behind, get the warden caught on his corruption. Like, so he's he's bringing the fantasy to life, you know, because I imagine that for this character, he is fantasizing about the outcome that he ultimately does get, not just being able to be in Mexico and be on the beach, and it's all the other things that happen along the way, the details, and bringing that to reality. And I think stories like this are so timeless because even if you're not, and I've never been incarcerated or been close to, and most of us haven't, and I feel like, though, that there's so much here that is relatable in our own ways, you know, because this character with, I know I'm kind of hopping all over the place here. It's a long movie, and it's 3 a.m. right now. Like with the Andy character, because he is so downtrodden, and it's not a story of like, I was wronged, I need to get out of here. It's he accepts his prison sentence pretty early on as this punishment, as if he is deserving of it, and as the movie reveals that he ultimately did feel like, even though he's not the one who pulled the trigger, that he did feel responsible for his wife's death, and that guilt is the thing that has allowed him to accept this condemnation and try to make the most of it, and then try to do some good while he's in there too. I forgot where I was going with that point, but I was just getting kind of lost in that because, oh yes, that is a very relatable point. That's a very relatable thing in its own way of, you know, a lot of us often can fall into the feelings of guilt or shame in ways that are not actually our faults, but we accept them as our faults and punish ourselves. And you do got to get to a point of climbing out of that hole. And he literally, there's like, it's such a good metaphor of like climbing out of this hole. Now the time has come to be free of it all again. Like, he's accepted his sentence. He hasn't even fought to get out. He didn't put up a fight this whole time he was there. He just accepted it, and then now he gets to climb out of that hole. And I think the other main relatable part of it, of what I imagine has made this movie just develop in popularity over time and has been so timeless, is the fact that thought process of thinking realistic. I know he's not the most popular person to quote right now, but Will Smith would often talk about this, is not the feelings of thinking realistic and the feelings of being a dreamer, you know, being someone who can hold on to a fantasy and try to make that fantasy become the reality. Because when you think realistic, that's so limiting, and you just pigeonhole yourself into having not such a fulfilling life. And I think, you know, painting a story like that's the basis of the narrative and the themes of, don't get caught up in thinking realistic, learn to be hopeful, learn to be a dreamer, think bigger. You know, it's in the story of a prison sentence, and then ultimately in the finale of a prison of a breaking out of prison. So I think having it rooted in those themes of, despite all things that are piling on against you, despite all odds, all the obstacles, you don't forget to hold on to that hope. That's why that scene with the music is so beautiful, where he plays that with that inspiration, that feeling of escapism. And that escapism doesn't have to be just a form of, you know, stepping away from reality. Like, yes, but there's a beauty to that. That's why we like watching fucking movies, man. That's why we like watching shows. It is an escapism. It totally is. But if you can run away with some sense of inspiration that you can actually apply, then beautiful things can come from that, you know? You know, when you hear people that say movies changed my life, I always kind of wonder, like, to what degree has it changed your life? Is it just the feeling that it gave you? Or did you actually like do something with that feeling or the thought process that sparked, and then something really did change for you? And I can imagine that this movie can have that effect for people that either grew up with it or found it pretty early on in life, or maybe they found it late in life and then they were able to hold on to any of that inspiration that stayed in their brain and their heart and then rolled with it. So there's so much beauty here. And I don't know, I guess I was expecting to walk into like a dark ass drama because I heard prison movie and it's R-rated. And yeah, I mean, it definitely feels R-rated. And I heard, Stephen King wrote it. So I wasn't expecting a movie that leaned more into those optimistic qualities. And I appreciated that so much. And I think Frank Darabont did an excellent job, because so much about this movie, to beyond just capturing the span of time working with his editor, the music by Thomas Newman, phenomenal too. That's great music. Like, it's like, I'm so used to Roger Deakins' cinematography as of now, which is shit like Prisoners and Blade Runner, this like striking, dark, moody ass shit. I forgot this was Roger Deakins. But I think they captured the personality of the prison so well, beyond just its cast of characters, the architecture of it all. There is a sense of history and who these people evolve into, and I like that it didn't just hone in on things that I would normally expect, which is people just kind of going crazy, like just going stir crazy. It leaned more into finding light in darkness, which was something I wasn't expecting. It's in some ways, if you just cut out a few things or change some dialogue and switch around some scenes, it could have been a PG-13 movie, but it wouldn't have been as good of a movie. It wouldn't have been as effective. You need some of the harsher shit in here in order for a lot of these other things to hit home much stronger in the feels. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a beautiful film. I thought it was really strong, and I'm glad I watched it. It's such a random movie for me to watch. I've been watching so many things, some things on camera here, a lot of more emotional shit lately. There's been so much more like things where I'm like, damn, I've been watching a lot of emotional stuff lately. But even off camera, I've been watching like a lot more things that are about like love and doing kinder things and doing good things. And being more optimistic in life. I bet it's a lot of what I watch. And I'm also catching up on Westworld. I'm only on season 2. So there's that, which is not the feelings I'm talking about. But then, I'm also watching like Love on the Spectrum, a great Netflix reality show, which I highly recommend. And this movie was impactful in a way I wasn't expecting. I thought it would just be this downtrodden, dark, depressing hole of a film, and then eventually it would become this very touching, moving, inspirational drama. But it was kind of the vibe throughout, and I wasn't expecting that, and I'm glad to be filled with that. It was awesome. Tim Robbins is excellent. Morgan Freeman's good. The rest of the William Sadler's a wonderful presence. The warden, asshole, I forget that actor's name. He's very effective here. Clancy Brown, always an effective asshole. It's funny how Clancy Brown is just like... I forgot how creepy Clancy Brown looked when he was younger. Because Clancy Brown is today, what is like a modern touch? He's the main Betty in, I don't know if you guys watched it, but the revival of the real final season of Dexter. And that's the Clancy Brown that comes to mind for me now. Just like a heavier set guy with white hair and a beard. Like that's the Clancy Brown I know. Or he's someone who's in like a lot of makeup or does a lot of voiceover work. His voice has become more definitive over time. And I forgot how creepy this guy was. He's still a little creepy looking. He seems nicer now. Like when he plays like a nicer part, I actually believe him. But damn, I forgot how creepy he was. But the costume design on this film was also excellent too. Everything about this, I love the art direction of it very much so. So yeah, fascinating to learn more facts about it, but really touching stuff and a great messages. And I love the ending of it as well. I wasn't expecting it to be like, damn, this finale is cool. This is a cool finale. That wasn't the vibe, but I think it earned it so much. And I love how they like planted all the seeds for every little bit of that escape plan. And I like how it went through, like he escaped and he did it. It wasn't, being chased by dogs in the middle of the night, streets and I get over there and get him. You know, he just had this like crazy elaborate plan, walked off with a lot of money, used the Phantom to be able to get some documents out there, got the warden caught. I thought it was great. It was excellent film. So yeah, shouts out to my friend Andrew Gordon. And if any friend in real life who has been insistent on me watching this, I think he declares this as his favorite movie. Out of any friend who's been insistent on me watching it, it's been Andrew Gordon, and many of you guys suggested it after Forrest Gump, and I'm glad I did. This was a nice experience. So thank you guys very much. Subscribe, leave a like, and we'll catch you all soon. Thank you.